So thank you for joining me on YouTube, and this channel is continuously growing. So thank you guys very much for your support. Make sure that you subscribe and you hit the bell notification so you can be updated on new content that I put out. I am going to be consistently uploading content to YouTube on a regular basis. What I like about this, especially for those of you who may have been following me on TikTok for a while, is I can go into a lot more depth here on YouTube, because obviously the videos are a lot longer. So I do have a question that I'm going to answer, and if you have a question that you want me to answer here on YouTube, you can go to Just Ask Matt and you can email me, justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com, and you can just keep the questions very brief, 2-3 paragraphs max, and I would love to answer any questions that you might have related to narcissism, toxic family members, narcissistic family members, those sorts of things. So any questions that you might have related to that, it can be workplace environment, it can be family members, it can be a significant other who's displaying narcissistic tendencies, but either way, I would love to answer any questions that you might have. Just ask Matt at mattpfeiffercoaching.com. And if you would like to book a session with me, if you want to book a consultation, you can go to my website, mattpfeiffercoaching.com. So let me get into this question, and let's get this started. So the question is, thank you so much for posting your educational videos. It's helping me so much. I feel like I'm surrounded by narcissists. This is very common. People who, what I tell people quite often is that when you see a narcissist, and when you're able to see certain characteristics, it's very difficult to unsee it. I feel like my mother is one, so is my children's father. This is also very common. My question to you is, growing up with a narcissistic household, was it a precondition to look for a narcissistic partner as well? I recently was discarded. He moved out of the state, made me quit my great job that I had, and his whole family, basically everyone, told me to stay at home and be a stay-at-home mom. This is also very common. This is a part of financial abuse. For a narcissist to convince you, sounds good on paper, to become a stay-at-home mom or to become a stay-at-home dad, or for one person to kind of take a pay cut, so then another person is able to pursue, let's say that they create more flexibility for the household, so then one person is able to take better care of the children, to save on costs of daycare and those sorts of things. It's very common for a narcissist to convince you of doing that, especially when they're trying to get you to move out of state and isolate you, because it gives them more control. So let's continue on with this email. After a year of doing this, he abandoned me, and out of three young children, in the middle of rioting that was going on. Our young baby was only 5 months old at the time. My parents brought us back to their household, to their house again. I feel so trapped. Keep in mind that this person is also dealing with a narcissistic mother. My mother is a narcissist as well. I can tell because she treats me like the black sheep, and my sister like she's the golden child. This is very true of narcissistic parents. There's typically an idealized child. There's typically a devalued child. So the mother is definitely displaying a lot of narcissistic qualities. All my life, I've been trying to run away from my family, only to end up with a narcissistic asshole baby daddy who abandons us every chance he gets. When they leave you, are they around other women? This is part of the question. Sleeping with them. My mom says it's not the other woman, it's just me and my mouth that he cannot stand. So that's a very vicious thing for your mother to say. And so I'm sorry that you're going through this, and to your defense, it does sound like you're dealing with not only a narcissistic significant other, but also a narcissistic mother. And yes, to answer your question about the precondition, you can be preconditioned, or you are preconditioned when you are dealing with a narcissistic mother. narcissist or a narcissistic father, a narcissist, in any capacity that you're growing up with, yes, it's natural that you are preconditioned, right? Your condition, your way of thinking, because what happens is that you end up sacrificing your own yourself, right? When you have a narcissistic parent, you have to literally give up your life to keep this person happy, right? It's all about them all the time, right? And so what happens is that you never have your feelings validated. You never feel loved. You never you end up growing up what I call a blank check, right? You want to put the needs of everybody else in front of you, right? Your picture of love, right? The way that you are to receive love is really messed up, right? And so it's natural for you to end up with someone who would like nothing more than to fill out that blank check, to make everything all about them, to tell you exactly what to do, to tell you how to live. What happens is that you grow up with the inability to set and enforce boundaries, because obviously if you have a narcissistic parent, they don't, like, all narcissists hate boundaries, right? So there's no chance that your mother is going to allow for you to set and enforce boundaries as a child or as an adult. So when you are looking for a partner, it's natural for you to feel more comfortable with someone who pushes and doesn't allow for you to set and enforce boundaries. And this is the type of atmosphere that you are living with your significant other. So to answer a couple of your questions, he asked a couple of questions here. Is it a precondition for you to end up with a narcissistic partner? Yes. Are you surrounded by narcissists? The answer is also yes. Right? What happens? You live a life that you are living a life right now that you are unable or not living a life of boundaries. So that attracts a lot of narcissists in your life. I wouldn't doubt that if you went back to work, or when you were working this great job, that you had narcissistic coworkers, if you had a narcissistic boss, right? Or even if they're not complete narcissists, just people who are taking advantage of you, because when you are a person who lives a life that you are not setting boundaries, you are naturally attracting these type of people into your life. You're not attracting healthy type of people into your life, people who respect boundaries, right? And you also most likely have a very deep fear of conflict, which also leads to you not setting and enforcing boundaries. So you also asked, when they leave you, are they sleeping around with other women? Most likely they are. Most likely those women were involved with them before you guys even separated. Is he sleeping with them? Yes. My mom says it's not the other women, it's just that it's my bad mouth. So that's something that's very vicious of your mother to say. So I seriously doubt that it's that. That's just something that your mom is using to devalue you. And so this is a very difficult situation. It's not an impossible situation. Yes, you're living with an abusive mother at the moment. However, what you want to do is you want to develop an exit strategy. This might be the safest and this might be the best situation for you right now because you're not working and you've been a stay-at-home mom for X amount of time. However, if you develop an exit strategy and you start to execute on this exit strategy, this can get better over time. It's not going to get better. It's not going to get better overnight. So if you would like, for anyone who's dealing with this type of situation, you can certainly book a session with me. We can develop an exit strategy. MattPfeifferCoaching.com. If you would like for me to answer a question for yourself, once again, you can go to just ask Matt at MattPfeifferCoaching.com. And until then, we'll talk to you soon.